Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Cincerello, and I'm an owner and managing partner at U-Nique Accounting. If this is your first time watching our content, thank you for finding and listening to us. And if you've watched us before, thank you for continuing to tune into our channel. As always, you can find out more about us by visiting our website at u-niqueaccounting.com. And while you're there, I recommend that you read our blog and also go to our download page and download some free guides that we have for you. So by the way, today is Friday, so cheers and happy Friday. If you notice my cup, it is bearing the hashtag MakeTodayCount. This is the slogan for my best friend's foundation, which is a not-for-profit that's very close to me. I'm a board member there. If you or anyone you know is dealing with the impact of cancer in your life, there will be a form at the end of this video that you can click on to get some assistance. And if you ever ask me the question, is that like a rosé or wine? Nope. Today is Cosmic Cranberry, which is a kombucha that I like to drink. Let's go ahead and get into it. Today's topic is part number 1 in our 5-part series, Xero versus QBO, why after 15 years we made the switch to Xero. Reason number 1 is that Xero is cloud friendly. Now, this wasn't our top reason, but we listed it number 1 because we just felt it was important to showcase the difference in how the softwares were designed and operate. What do you think we mean by cloud friendly? Well, the way we look at it is that it just has basic browser functionality. And so think about anything you've done on the internet. When you click on a tab and it goes to a new screen, you can hit the back button to go backwards, or you get the forward button to go forward to what you were just looking at. If you're shopping and like you're on Amazon, you're comparing products, and you were looking at a basic model versus a pro model. You can put the basic model on one tab, the pro model on another tab, and look at them side by side to compare them. Just some basic functionality that we've all grown accustomed to when we're using the internet. So let's talk about Xero versus QBO and how they function in these environments. Xero was never a desktop software. It was designed and built 100% for the cloud, whereas QuickBooks is their cloud-based version of their software, but it's just not really designed 100% for the cloud. And honestly, that just sounds wrong, right? To have a cloud-based software that lacks some of the functionality in the cloud, it just doesn't seem right. Well, let's go over some of these instances of how it just doesn't function appropriately in a cloud-based environment. First off is the concept of opening things into a new tab or window. Xero, in this instance, operates just like a web-based program should. If you want to right-click and open that link into a new tab or window, you can. And this is important because, especially in accounting, usually when you're looking at something, it's because you're like auditing it. You're like, why is this way? And you click on it and you want to look at it compared to something else. You're going to use your multi-monitor setup to have screens and windows all over so you can compare data, okay? And Xero allows you to do this. QuickBooks Online, on the other hand, is just really quite frustrating because they just have limited ability to open things in new tabs and windows. So when we're talking about this basic browser functionality and why we would prefer Xero, like to not be able to open things into new tabs or windows and use a multi-monitor setup to compare data, like it's just a big deal for us. And one of the things that QuickBooks does is that instead of allowing you to open something in a new tab, they have this overlapping box concept. I don't get it. I think some people love it, which is why they keep it around. Let's say you are looking at your P&L and your advertising expenses went up 5% from last month.
And you're like, I wonder why. Let's find out.
Well, in Xero, you could open up the last month and the current month in 2 different windows and look side by side to what you're doing. In QuickBooks, you can't do this. In fact, if you click on your P&L and want to look at your advertising expenses, this overlapping box concept pops up and just whoop, covers your P&L, and now you're looking at the details of your advertising expenses. And yeah, you can look at it, but in order to go back to your P&L, you have to close that box and then go back to your P&L. Again, why? I don't know. They did it for some reason, but it doesn't utilize cloud-based environment and multi-monitors the way it should be used. Another concept is the fact of browser inactivity. A lot of times, and I'm sure you've done this before, you're using the internet, you get distracted, gotta take the dog for a walk, kids are distracting you, or you're working at night, stop, come back in the morning. You come back to your open browser tabs and the program or site should have logged you out because you become inactive. It's a security measure. Xero and QuickBooks Online both do this, and that's good. Where they differ is how they return you back to what you were doing. In both these softwares, if you've been out for a long time, they both kind of kick you back to the beginning. So they both do that, but it's more of in the short-term inactivity what happens. So in Xero, when you're inactive for a short period of time and you want to return back, you log back in and you go right back to the screen you're looking at, which is great because if you had 5 different windows up as Xero and walked away for 10 minutes and came back and had to log back in, you just want to go back to exactly where you were. And Xero does that. QuickBooks Online, on the other hand, doesn't do that. Sometimes it will return you back where you were, but most often it doesn't. I haven't found out a rhyme or reason, it's however it decides to do at that moment in time. They also have a shorter inactivity window of time. I get if you were like maybe on a mobile phone, but on your computer, like you don't really walk away from your computer that much to have that short of a window. Their inactivity functionality is just really a waste of time and frustrating because you could have a couple windows open. And our team has actually done this where we're working in the bank module and we could be there for 10 minutes and they want to go back to like a P&L we had open. That window has timed out and it goes back to the home screen. And now we have to go back to reports, P&L, run it, change the date, time, and period for whatever period of time we were looking at, right? We have to go through all those steps again. In Xero, you log back in, you're looking at exactly where you were. QuickBooks Online, you most oftentimes get kicked back out to a home screen and then have to reopen everything you were looking at. Now, if you only had one window open, not that big of a deal, but typically in a browser environment, you're doing this multiple times and you're going to have 5, 6 windows open. So it is a very big deal. Well, thanks for listening to reason number 1 of why we prefer Xero over QBO, and stay tuned for reasons 2 through 5. If you appreciate our advice, just please remember to like our video and subscribe to our channel for future content. Until then, remember, don't conform, stay unique.